3 children stood alone on a dusty western road, their faces covered in dirt, their stomachs empty, and their hearts broken. Their mother was gone. Their father had disappeared months ago. The town had already decided what would happen to them. But before the sun went down, a woman with nothing but a torn suitcase, a tired horse, and a painful past stepped into their lives. She wasn't their mother. She wasn't even from that town. Yet by sundown, those 3 motherless children were calling her Mama. What happened during those few hours changed all 4 of their lives forever. But the town's richest man hated what she was doing and swore she would never keep those children. Would love be enough to keep a family together in a land ruled by greed and cruelty? Stay with me until the end, because this is the unforgettable story of a woman who arrived in the West with absolutely nothing, and found something more valuable than gold. The year was 1883. The western town of Dry Creek sat beneath endless skies and surrounded by miles of empty prairie. It was the kind of place where people knew each other's business before breakfast, and judged each other before supper. A stagecoach rolled into town carrying only 1 passenger. Her name was Sarah Whitmore. She was 32 years old and owned almost nothing. A worn suitcase rested beside her feet. Inside were 2 dresses, a family Bible, and a faded photograph of her husband, Thomas, who had died during a railroad accident 2 years earlier. After losing him, Sarah had lost everything else. The bank had taken their home. Friends had slowly disappeared. Family members had offered sympathy but no help. Now she had traveled west searching for work and a chance to begin again. As she stepped from the coach, townspeople glanced at her plain clothing and tired face. No one greeted her. No one offered assistance. To them she was just another poor stranger. Sarah found a cheap room above the general store and spent the afternoon searching for work. Every door seemed to close before she could explain herself. The hotel already had a cook. The school had no openings. The laundry house paid almost nothing. By evening she had earned only rejection and sore feet. Then she heard shouting near the church. A crowd had gathered. Curious, Sarah walked closer. 3 children stood near the church steps. The oldest boy couldn't have been more than 12. Beside him stood a little girl around 8, and a tiny boy perhaps 5 years old. Their clothes were ragged. Their faces were thin. Fear filled their eyes. Sarah learned their names were Jacob, Emily, and Ben Carter. Only a week earlier their mother had died from pneumonia. Their father had vanished months before, leaving behind debts and unanswered questions. Now nobody wanted responsibility for the children. The townspeople argued over what should be done. Some wanted to send them to separate orphanages. Others suggested putting them to work on distant ranches. No one seemed concerned that separating them would destroy the only family they had left. Sarah watched little Ben clutch his sister's hand. She watched Emily trying not to cry. She watched Jacob attempting to act brave despite being terrified. Something inside her broke. The children reminded her of the family she had dreamed of having but never received. For years she and Thomas had hoped for children. That dream had died with him. Without thinking, Sarah stepped forward. "I'll take them tonight." The crowd fell silent. The mayor stared at her. "You don't even know them." "No," Sarah replied softly. "But they need someone." Laughter spread through parts of the crowd. How could a woman with nothing care for 3 children? She had no home. No steady income. No relatives. No land. Yet when Sarah looked at those frightened faces, she felt certain of one thing. Walking away would haunt her forever. That evening she shared her small rented room with the children. The bed belonged to the youngest 2. Blankets covered the floor. They ate bread and soup purchased with nearly the last coins Sarah possessed. As darkness settled outside, nobody spoke much. Then Ben quietly asked the question. "Will you leave us too?" The room became silent. Sarah felt tears gathering in her eyes. She moved closer and gently touched his hair. "No." The little boy studied her face. "You promise?" Sarah nodded. "I promise." Minutes later he whispered a single word. "Mama." Sarah froze. Emily looked up. Jacob lowered his head. Then Emily smiled through tears. Mama! By sundown, the impossible had happened. A woman who arrived with nothing had become a mother to 3 children who had nobody. But outside their window, powerful people were already planning to tear that family apart. The next morning, Sarah awoke determined to keep her promise. The challenge seemed impossible. She had 3 hungry children and less than $5 remaining. Yet she refused to surrender. She found work cleaning houses, sewing clothes, cooking meals, and doing any job available. The children helped whenever they could. Slowly they began building a life together. For the first time since their mother's death, laughter returned to the Carter children. But trouble was approaching. The richest ranch owner in the county, Walter Grayson, wanted the land that legally belonged to the Carter children. Though small, the property sat above a valuable water source. If the children were removed, Grayson could claim it. He began spreading rumors. People said Sarah only wanted money. Others claimed she was unfit to raise children. Soon county officials arrived asking questions. Sarah realized somebody was trying to destroy everything she had built. The battle that followed tested her courage, faith, and determination. She faced public humiliation, financial hardship, threats, and heartbreaking moments when it seemed she might lose the children forever. Yet every challenge revealed something extraordinary. The family grew stronger. Jacob became a responsible young man. Emily discovered remarkable kindness. Ben never stopped believing Sarah would save them. As years passed, the truth about Grayson's schemes slowly emerged. The entire town would eventually learn who truly cared for those children, and who only cared about money. But before justice arrived, Sarah would face one final sacrifice, a choice so difficult it could either save her family or destroy everything she loved. And when that moment finally came, the decision she made would leave the entire town speechless forever. If today's story touched your heart, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And remember, even a small act of kindness can change someone's entire life. Red Heart.